I'm here with Todd of AEG, and Todd is going to tell us a little bit about Cutthroat Kingdoms, one of their new releases.
Yes, this is Cutthroat Kingdoms by Brian Merlongi. It is a strategic social game. You have a board where you have territories that you can play your armies on and move your armies about to try to take control and gain resources from different players, but much of the game is negotiable, and much of the game specifically involves making and breaking deals with other players. You play as a noble house, and all the noble houses have different asymmetric abilities. Some may be better with money, some may be better with armies, etc. But as you work through the game, different events happen. Plagues break out on territories, and you have to have hirelings who can take care of things for you. But things will come up like a royal wedding. And when the royal wedding comes up, players can begin to attempt to marry their children off to each other.
Can you show us some of the cards that will do those things?
So this is your event deck. And some events come up like tribute. Players get money and different types of income at the beginning of the turn. Sometimes plagues may break out, and if a plague breaks out on a territory, it chooses the territory that has the most troops in it currently, and it becomes plague, which reduces its abilities and begins killing off the soldiers who are there and makes you lose control of it. About halfway through the deck, you will run into the royal wedding. So when the royal wedding takes place, players can begin to negotiate and make deals to marry their kids off. Once two players have agreed that, they take the card for their children, whoever their children happen to be, and trade it with the other player. At that point, those players are now linked. Their victory points at the end of the game will be the average of both of them. So they have all sorts of incentive to work together now. But again, everyone else at the table and any other marriages that happened have incentive to work against them. You don't have to get married. Sometimes it's more strategic not to and just to play your own game because another player may end up dragging you down later on in the game.
And even weddings that are not broken at the level of, when you're fiancé, weird stuff may happen at weddings, as recent fiction has familiarized us with.
It can, and in fact, the hireling deck is the deck that gives you various support characters like the jeweler and assassins who can do different things for you. One card in the deck is the royal pillow. This is the one card that can annul a wedding because, well, you can think about how that works, but you can get out of a bad wedding if you have to. So you continue through the event deck, you continue fighting over territories. The fighting system is quite simple. You have troops, and you play them to hold the territory in different colors. You can also hire mercenaries, because everybody needs more troops, of course. So if I wanted to attack this person here and try and take their territory, I would have to play 3 red soldiers and a blue soldier, just discard them to knock these guys off, and then play additional soldiers to then take it. So it's a fairly simple combat system. Mercenaries, when they're killed, just go to the discard pile, they're gone and will get recycled. Your own soldiers go back to your discard pile, and as an action you can shuffle them all back and pick them up because your house can continue to rebuild. At the end of the game, and just to remember, anything happening in the game is up for negotiation. If I'm on one territory and I want to move around yours to attack somebody else, you can set the terms. It's like, well, you have to agree not to attack me for 2 more turns, or you have to pay me 5 gems, or you have to go get me a soda from the kitchen. Whatever the agreement happens to be. Deals can be broken except if a player says yes. Yes is the binding word in the rule book, and if you say yes, you have to abide by it. So you can't just completely screw around.
But somebody says, yeah, sure.
Right. If too much is going on and someone says yes, sure, you could backstab them later. So finally, the last card in the event deck is the Royal Feast. During the Royal Feast, everybody collects feast cards, a certain number of them. Most feast cards have things like Pig Snout, worth 5 points, or Swill, worth 0 points, or various things. You can also buy additional ones with money that you have. Of course, you don't want to buy too much because money is victory points. Occasionally, though, some of the cards you'll get...
By the way, you may have noticed, dear viewers, that there is a noise that started. The enemy
is coming. I'm going to wrap this up. So you may also get poison cards. When the feast begins, everybody takes all their feast cards and hands them however they want. You can keep them, you can give them out, whatever. People have to take all the feast cards they've been given, shuffle them, lay them out face down. You then have to begin eating the food, flipping it over. You have certain hirelings who could be tasters that you can put on a card before you flip it it over. They taste it for you. If it's poison, it doesn't hurt you. If you do flip over a poison and you didn't have a taster on it, your heir, your children are killed, and you're going to lose 10 victory points because they drank the poison, and that can be pretty bad at the end of the game. So it's a way you have to be sure to cover yourself. That's Cutthroat Kingdoms, and here comes the mob.
Here, yeah, the enemy is coming. Thank you, Todd. Let's go, run. Let's run. Let's run.
Bye.